Welcome back. COVID-19 pandemic, Indonesian economy started to recover in the third quarter this year. Based on the data, one of the contributors came from cement industry, which recorded a relatively higher production volume.
In the middle of COVID-19 pandemic, Indonesian economy started to recover in the third quarter this year. One of the contributors came from cement industry, which recorded a higher production volume. Minister of Industry Agus Gumiwang said that cement industry has become the main pillar of economic recovery in the third quarter of 2020. Based on data, cement production in the third quarter of 2020 reached 18.1 million tons, or increased by 42.09% quarter to quarter. Even though recorded higher production in quarterly basis, the production in the third quarter is relatively lower than the same period in 2019. Meantime, the recovery in domestic cement industry also can be seen from the financial performance of cement manufacturers. The financial statement of 3 public cement companies showed there were 25% sales growth in June up to September 2020. From all sources for IDX Channel.
In the midst of current difficult economic conditions, it turns out that there are sectors that have survived and become the main support for the national economy. One of them is the cement industry. So viewers, is it a sign of a recovery in the domestic cement industry? Let's take a look at the data in the first graphic. This is the data about Indonesia cement production data in million of tons. In the second quarter of 2020, it was the level of growth as much as 12.68 million tons. Quarter to quarter basis, it was down by 18.8%. Meantime, for year-on-year basis, it was down by 9.08%. Meantime, in the third quarter of 2020, the Indonesia cement production in the level of 18.1 million tons in quarter to quarter basis, it grew by 42.09%. Meantime, for year-on-year basis, it was down by 9%. Meantime, data from the Indonesian Cement Association recorded that until September 2020, domestic cement sales amounted to 44.6 million tons, or still decreased from sales realization in first 9 months of 2018 or 2019. One of the causes is the slowing down of activity in the construction sector, which is also acknowledged by the Minister of Finance, Sri Mulyani. However, in the other hand, the positive performance was shown in overseas sales, where cement export in 9 months of 2020 exceeded 6.85 million tons, or grew by 44.8% year-on-year. So the data can be seen as an indicator of the performance achievements of domestic cement manufacturers. Let's see the next graphic about financial performance highlights of Cement Indonesia. In revenue side, in the second quarter of 2020, the financial performance highlight of Cement Indonesia was grow to 28.12 trillion rupiah. Meantime, for the net profit for Cement Indonesia, it was on the level of 1.29 trillion rupiah. In the third quarter of, that was for the data in 2019. Meantime, for the data in 2020, for the revenue for Cement Indonesia in the level of 25.62 trillion rupiah. Meantime, for the net profit, it was 1.54 trillion rupiah, grew by 19.06% year-on-year. Meantime, for the revenue for Cement Indonesia, it was down by 8.88% year-on-year. And Cement Indonesia is the market leader of the cement industry, which holds a 53% share of the cement market, is still able to maintain annual net profit growth, even though the income side has recorded a decline due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted in a decline in national cement consumption and a slowdown in infrastructure projects, as disclosed by the Corporate Secretary of Cement Indonesia, Vita Mahreni. And for this reason, Cement Indonesia stated that the company is actively implementing a cost leadership strategy to reduce various costs or burdens. And next, we're going to take a look at the financial performance of other cement manufacturers in the next graphic. This is the data about financial performance highlight of Indocement Tunggal Prakarsa. In revenue side, in third quarter of 2019, it was reached 11.34 trillion rupiah. Meantime, for the net profit, it was on the level of 1.17 trillion rupiah. Meantime, in third quarter in 2020, the revenue of Indocement Tunggal Prakarsa, it was on the level of 10.14 trillion rupiah, or down by 10.56% year-on-year. Meantime, for the net profit, it was on the level of 1.11 trillion rupiah, or down by 5.06% year-on-year. And the second largest cement market leader, Indocement Tunggal Prakarsa, recorded a higher revenue in quarterly basis, although on an annual basis, it continued to decline due to weak sales during the pandemic. President Director of Indocement, Christian Kartawijaya, stated that towards the end of this year, cement sales are not estimated to recover at a significant rate. Christian estimates that this year, cement sales will move in negative territory of -1% to -11%. Meanwhile, for 2021, the cement industry is expected to recover, along with optimism for the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in next graphic, we're going to see another cement manufacturer, Cement Batu Raja, financial performance. These are the highlights. The financial performance highlight of Cement Batu Raja revenue in the third quarter of 2019, it was on the level of 1.42 trillion rupiah. Meantime, for the net revenue, it was on the level of 22.7 billion. And in the third quarter of 2020, the revenue of Cement Batu Raja on the level of 1.15 trillion rupiah. Meantime, for the net loss, it was on the level of 112.6 billion rupiah. And triggered by the decline in revenue, the performance of Cement Batu Raja was under pressure throughout the third quarter of 2020, where revenue fell 19.18% year-on-year. The company's VP of Corporate Secretary, Dodi Irawan, stated that the decline in revenue was due to the decrease in cement sales volume, where there was a significant decrease in cement demand nationally, and specifically in the company's market areas, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And however, to increase product absorption and performance in the fourth quarter, the company is currently pursuing government and private infrastructure projects, including toll road projects in South Sumatra. And viewers, we hope that domestic cement market will become better in the last quarter of this year, so that it can deliver a larger positive contribution to the national economy. Stay tuned on Market Lines because we'll be right back after the break.